Welcome back to my channel. DC Dark Legion has just received new updates in October with many new heroes and several changes to their skills, so I made this November tier list. Since there have been a lot of changes, the rankings in this tier list have also shifted quite a bit. The current meta is dominated by heroes with high physical defense, so characters dealing physical damage will mostly be ranked lower, though there are still a few I decided not to downgrade. However, for the most part, they will be ranked down. In this update, there's also Death Metal Wonder Woman, one of the most controversial heroes because you have to spend a lot of money to get her and make her effective. So, I'll also cover how to defeat her at the end of this video. Before we start this tier list, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch more awesome videos. Alright, let's get started. First, let me quickly explain my new tier list. I'll rank heroes from D up to S+ as usual. However, in this list, I've added numbers next to heroes whose ranks have changed to make it easier for you to follow. Red numbers mean they've dropped in rank, while blue numbers mean they've moved up. To save your time, I'll only talk about the heroes who have changed in ranking. Those who stay in the same spot, I'll mention less. Alright, let's start with tier D. I dropped Adam and Captain Cold down one tier
Let
because,
me make some quick
as I mentioned
calculations.
earlier, the current meta is full of high physical defense heroes. Adam, who deals area physical damage and then leaves the
Let me
battlefield,
make
becomes
some quick
completely
calculations.
useless in these fights. As for Captain Cold, he boosts physical damage, which used to be helpful, but now he doesn't really have
Stone
much of a
cold.
place anymore, maybe only slightly useful in combat cycles. Now moving on to Tier C, here's why I didn't rank Red Hood lower. Even though he's also a physical damage dealer, he's an essential member of the Bat family who provides crucial support for Nightwing, so he remains in his current position. As for Killer Croc, he dropped in rank because his role mainly focuses on supporting physical damage dealers. I still use him quite often in my team, but given the current situation, he doesn't have much impact anymore, and even tends to get defeated rather quickly. However, he's still a strong survivor when facing physical damage dealers, so he's still a good pick if you combine him with the Legion of Doom team. That way, Deathstroke can eliminate spiritual damage dealers early, allowing Killer Croc to survive much longer. Regarding Roy, although I haven't used him much yet, I
Anything
find that
useful
he's
happening,
not
young man?
particularly
Considering a
strong.
bow?
He's also a physical damage dealer, so he ends up dropping in rank as well. Plus, in his faction, there aren't really any other members who can deal significant damage. Alright, now moving on to Tier B. There are 3 heroes who got ranked down: Mera, Cyborg, and Green Arrow. Mera is a great healer and support character, but since there are now too many strong support heroes in the game, she had to be dropped. Support characters are becoming increasingly durable, even those from the Guardian faction, so it's reasonable for her to move down after staying in high positions for quite a long time. However, for free-to-play players, Mera is still a solid option in certain situations. As for Cyborg, his ability to boost physical damage for teammates is no longer
All
strong
over it.
enough, especially now that many heroes have high physical defense. With the rise of the Amazon faction, physical damage dealers are struggling, so I decided to lower his rank. And for the same reason as Cyborg, Green Arrow, though still a solid
Hand me my
physical damage
bow.
dealer, just isn't strong enough anymore, so he's also dropped one tier. All right, now let's move on to Tier A. Talking about Martian Manhunter, he's a spiritual damage dealer, so
This is
he's
a
not
job
really
for a
affected by
Martian.
the current meta. However, I still ranked him lower because I personally find him too weak when I use him. When I face other players using him, he seems much stronger, probably because they know how to use him properly. I've also seen a few tier lists placing him pretty high, but I'm ranking him lower simply because this video reflects my personal opinion. If I just copy others, then what's the point of watching, right? Batman is also ranked down for a similar reason. With so many heroes now supporting physical defense, Batman gets affected a lot since he's an area physical damage dealer. Next is Talia. She's the most affected of all. As an assassin who deals wide area attacks targeting backline
I'm
enemies,
Talia.
she's heavily
You are
countered by recent
nothing.
meta heroes that focus on reducing early damage, increasing early physical defense, and other mechanics that weaken her burst potential. Because of that, her damage isn't strong enough to quickly finish off opponents, which puts her in danger due to her self HP reduction mechanic. If she can't defeat her target, she can't heal herself, so I dropped her 2 tiers. Hawk Girl, on the other hand, is ranked up by 1 tier thanks to the arrival of Death Metal Wonder Woman.
I love meeting
Her first
people
skill can pull
face to
enemies together,
face.
allowing Death Metal Wonder Woman to deal much more damage. And with Nurse Harley now boosting the Birds of Prey faction, that team's rank has gone up overall. However, both of these heroes are for heavy spenders, players who invest a lot of money. So if you're a free-to-play player, Hawkgirl's rank basically remains the same. Next, for Tier A+, Wonder Girl is a newly released hero, but I placed her directly in Tier A+, because she's one of the easiest heroes to
Who's
upgrade
down to
stars
try?
for, since she's currently available in the
I
event.
am.
She's also strong thanks to her ability to boost physical defense for both the Amazon and Teen Titan teams right from the start of the battle. That means you can use her in a team with Nightwing or even in a Justice League Dark plus Amazon hybrid team, which helps the Justice League Dark heroes survive better. Although she doesn't directly help Constantine survive, she boosts the physical defense of Wonder Woman and Queen Hippolyta, which indirectly helps Constantine last longer. She also supports Raven since Raven belongs to the Titan faction. This team setup is quite friendly for free-to-play players because most people choose to build Justice League Dark as it's easier to develop. So, Wonder Girl deserves this position since she fits perfectly with the faction that many players are focusing on. Next is Harley Quinn. She moved up 2 ranks thanks to Nurse Harley. When
Let
combined
me
with Nurse
in.
Harley and 3 other Arkham team members, they create an incredibly strong setup. She's also quite easy to obtain for new players. However, similar to Hawkgirl, if you're not a spender in the game, you won't have access to Nurse Harley, which means Harley Quinn won't be able to rank up. In other words, Harley Quinn would only stay in Tier B without Nurse Harley's support. Next is Superboy. He's a physical damage support hero for teammates, so he also gets ranked down by 1 tier. Even though he's still very useful in PvE
Now
modes,
it's a
in
party.
PvP, he's not that effective against teams with high physical defense. Reducing only 5% per stack up to 4 times just isn't enough to help his teammates deal significant damage. Moving on to Tier S, I decided to rank Nightwing down by 1 tier. The reason is that when you pit Deathstroke and Nightwing against each other, Deathstroke actually wins because he uses his first skill faster. Even though his overall damage isn't as high as Nightwing's, he can still defeat Nightwing earlier. And with so many heroes now providing strong survivability buffs or supporting low HP teammates, Nightwing gets countered more often than Deathstroke. Supergirl is also ranked down by 1 tier for the same reason. There are too many survivability support heroes right now. Supergirl doesn't deal much damage in the early phase of battle, and since she
Everything's
also
going
deals
to be
physical
okay.
damage with low survivability, she can easily get defeated early without doing much to the opponent in the current meta. As for Zatanna, she's ranked up by 1 tier because of her recent changes that help teammates survive better against assassins,
You should
giving
see what I
Constantine
pulled
more
out of my
opportunities to
hat.
deal damage. She also boosts damage for allies even outside her own faction, and more importantly, she now supports spiritual damage dealers much more effectively. Scarecrow is still strong, but I don't think he's as strong as Queen Hippolyta, so I dropped him 1 tier to make the balance more accurate. He
You need
performs
something
very well as
scary.
both a tank and a
That's
support, but Queen
me.
Hippolyta provides better survivability for her team. And with the Amazon faction becoming increasingly powerful, she clearly deserves the higher spot. Now we've reached the final part, Tier S+. In this tier, you still need a strong enough assassin to take down Constantine, Sinestro, and the Joker. I've been using Deathstroke and found him really good. I haven't used Nightwing yet,
Deathstroke is
but from my
here.
experience,
So bring
Deathstroke
the body
activates his skill
bags.
faster, giving him an advantage and fewer direct counters. However, he's still affected by the current meta, especially by Swamp Thing, Zatanna, and the Amazon faction, who are natural counters to assassins. I've mentioned Queen Hippolyta many times already. She's ranked higher because she provides excellent survivability support. Being part of the Amazon faction means she both supports and gets supported by other Amazons, especially Death Metal Wonder Woman, who's incredibly powerful, and Wonder Girl as well. Together, this trio forms a perfect counter team against assassins and physical damage dealers. Next is Sinestro. I previously skipped him because I didn't have enough anvils to draw him during the Bleed event. But with the current abundance of physical defense heroes, it's only
I
natural that he
always
gets ranked
loved the
higher since
color
he deals
yellow.
massive damage. Finally, there's Nurse Harley, a new hero who I've placed directly in this tier. Even though she deals physical damage, what makes her powerful is her skill that functions similarly to the Joker's, and the two work extremely well together. Both of them inflict damage over time effects that stack up to 100 times, along with several other effects, making her worthy of this high rank. However, she's a pay to win hero, so if you're a free to play or low spending player, her rank doesn't really matter for you. Now, for the last and most important part, where does Death Metal Wonder Woman rank? I placed her outside this current tier list. Right now, she's not a mythic hero, but an iconic one. And I'm not sure if there will be another way to
It
obtain
is
her
about
after
to
this
get
event.
loud.
Because of that, I can't rank her equally with the current S plus tier since she's in a completely different category, but I'll update her rank in the future if she becomes more accessible. Even though her power level is overwhelming, that doesn't mean she's unbeatable. As you know, she's a warrior type hero,
It
which
is about
means
to
her
get
survivability
loud.
isn't as good as that of guardian type heroes. However, her high physical defense combined with Amazon team synergy makes her extremely durable. There are two main strategies to defeat her. First, use heroes who deal spiritual damage, like Sinestro, though keep in mind that Death Metal Wonder Woman has 20% spiritual resistance from her legacy. But Sinestro's legacy grants him 20% spiritual penetration, so he can still deal very high
It
damage
is
to her.
about to get
Constantine also has
loud.
around 10% spiritual penetration from his legacy, so while he deals slightly less, he can still defeat her. Second, use damage over time heroes like the Joker combined with the Arkham team. And if you're a big spender, Nurse Harley is another great option to counter Death Metal Wonder Woman. To survive against her, simply use heroes with high physical defense,
I can
since
do it.
she's a
Fill
physical
me with
damage
greed.
dealer. Those heroes can withstand her attacks more effectively. All right, this video has probably gone on long
I
enough, so I'll
always
stop here.
loved the color
See you all in the
yellow.
next one. Don't forget to like and leave a comment so I can read your thoughts.